He's been growing.
And then at the end, can you put the chalice out?
Yeah.
Yeah. So you just take this and put it out.
Whack it down.
Yeah. You got it?
Whack-a-doodle. Sounds good.
Forgive me. All right. Good morning. My name is Mary Underwood, and I serve on the Board of Trustees of the Unitarian Universalist Church of Spartanburg. Welcome to this sacred space. We are glad you are here. At UUCS, we strive to be a beloved community of warmth, love, and support across all our differences. This is a welcoming congregation where everyone is welcome just as you are. If you are visiting with us this morning, we would love to meet you. Visitor cards may be found in the pocket on the back of the chair in front of you. Please feel welcome to fill one out and place it in the offering plate during the service so we can connect with you. Even though it is summer, there is a lot going on in the life of this congregation. You will find the new August Connect in the lobby and a one-page weekly calendar in your order of service. Here are just a few announcements. Our summer enrichment continues. Throughout the summer until August 31st, we are experimenting with intergenerational enrichment intergenerational time, the hour before our 11 a.m. service. The church will open Sundays at 9:30 for coffee and fellowship. At 10, we will gather together for centering, and then we will have several breakout groups. Childcare for our youngest UUs is provided from 9:45 to 12:15 so that parents, children, and our youth may all experience enrichment. Come and enjoy. And don't forget your flat chalice. Take it with you when you go places this summer. If you need another one or never picked one up, there are some available on the table in the lobby. We will have a welcome home flat chalice party on Sunday, September 7th during the enrichment time before the service. Join us. Fair trade coffee and tea will be available for sale today in the fellowship hall following the service. Prices have gone up for us again, and we have made the decision to sell out of our remaining inventory at the old price. If anyone is interested in taking over this project, please contact Susan Tarragano at tarraganos@hotmail.com. I'm sure we can refresh that memory of your email. If you're interested, let me know. I can get you that email. This is a lovely way to meet people. Naomi Richardson, Allison Reed, and Susan have managed the sales since before COVID, and they're going to step back to do other things. Thanks for all the support that you've given them, and they hope to see you at our regular time and place for the next few months until they sell out of their current inventory. Next Sunday, August 10th, as we look to kick off the new school year, please bring your backpacks or work bags with you for a blessing of the backpacks during the service. Thank you all for making this a place of kindness, care, and love.
Good morning. Mel and I have switched the order of service a tiny bit. I'm Alice Sutton, the chair of the Social Justice Council, and I'm going to introduce Michelle Moody, who is the foundation head of our Share the Plate this month. Each month, we share the plate with a special organization, and she'll tell us a little bit about hers, and I'll tell you a little tiny bit about her. She is the niece of Brenda Lee Price. She went to school at Columbia College in Columbia, South Carolina, and worked as a special needs advocate for many years. She lives in Ghana now. She's married to a Ghanaian, and they are sponsoring work for a village in Ghana. She's going to tell us a lot more about this on this Wednesday's 4 o'clock social justice meeting. But right now, she'll tell us a tiny bit.
Thank you. Good morning, everybody. Good morning. This is such a lovely church. I came here and the energy and the warmth and the smiles, I've never had an experience like this, so thank you so much. I drove up here from Florida last night, so I got here about 8 o'clock this morning, so just bear with me if I miss a word or two, but it was very important for me to be here, so thank you again for having me here. Also, my Aunt Brenda Lee Price told me to tell everyone she loves y'all, and she really spoke very well about here. So again, thank you. Again, my name is Michelle Muti, and we're CAMS Foundation. I went to go visit Ghana about 4 years ago, and as an American person and person my mission has always been to care, especially about children and people in need. I went there and I saw the destitute situation a lot of those kids are, especially the girls. A lot of times they're on their ministration and they don't have something as simple as a maxi pad, so they will stay out of school because of that. And no child should have to stay out of school because of this is certain things that they need. So with that being said, that month I provided the whole school with maxi pads, book bags, whatever they needed. But I can't do it alone. So I told those kids I'll do whatever I can, and they are grateful. Even if it's a pencil, they're grateful for it. And it means a lot to me to try to help and try to give back over there, because I see the destitute and the desperate needs of the parents who want to do well for their kids, but they just don't have the finances to do so. So that's what created CAMS Foundation, and that's what came about. So that's why I'm here, and however you want to help or you want to talk to me more about it, I'll be more than happy to talk about it. And thank you so much for having me here. Okay, thank you.
Most of us know how Share the Plate works, but if you don't, half of your undesignated money that goes in the plate this month will go to this foundation, and any designated money or checks that you put in the plate will also, as well as donations made online. So thank you very much.
Good morning and welcome. My name is Mel Fritchie and I will be serving as your worship associate this morning. For our chalice lighting, I'm going to be reading from Megan Birdsong, who is a teacher and school librarian in Santa Clara, California, public schools for the last 25 years. It's really hard to figure how we've gotten to a place so far from where a lot of us thought about our country, a place that's about pluralism, freedom of information, and freedom to read. And from Deborah Caldwell Stone, the director of the ALA's Office for Intellectual Freedom. We are no longer seeing a parent raising a concern about their student reading a book, but advocacy groups demanding broader censorship of topics that they don't believe should be in schools or where they disagree with the viewpoints expressed in the book. While the ALA fully acknowledges that a parent has the right to guide their students' reading and the right to have that conversation and perhaps ask their student not to be given that book, says Caldwell Stone, now we're seeing policies and advocacy to stigmatize a whole range of materials under the rubric that they're illegal or pornographic when they are none of these things.
If you would please join us in singing hymn number 300 with heart and mind. I will play it through once, just because I think we need to.
We gather both in person and online because we believe in community. We are here because we understand the importance of community and the importance of mutual support. We engage every week in the ritual of the rippling bowl. It is a time during our service when, as a community, we can hold one another in care. At this time, please feel welcome to come forward and drop a stone or a shell in the rippling bowl, representing all that you hold in your heart now. And let this community embrace you. We gather because we believe in the power of community. Not just the power of community, but in the power of a spiritual community. As Unitarian Universalists, we believe in the free and responsible search for truth and meaning by each person. As such, we don't have a creed, but we do have a covenant, a promise that we make to each other and to the world to try to be the future that we envision. Please join me in saying our covenant. With courage, we say, we are a people of faith and hope. Together we covenant to strive to become our better selves, to honor both the critical mind and the generous heart, to prove that diversity need not mean divisiveness, and to respond to systems of violence and oppression with the power of a love beyond belief. We are a community. We believe in the inherent worth and dignity of each and every person. We believe that each person we run into every day, anywhere, holds a spark of the divine within them. And we love that. It is why we like to greet the divine in one another. I have seen you all cheating during the Rippling Bowl, talking, giving hugs. Now is your time. Now, you may continue your greeting, being mindful of others' preferences for how they wish to be greeted, staying in your seat if you would like, and being good rule followers. Returning to your seat when one of our fine musicians signals us. especially loud playing, Max. It sort of worked. Aside from giving our love and our time and our craft supplies and our food and our plants, we support this place financially to keep the lights on and the work doing good out in the world. We will receive a Share the Plate this month for the CAMS Foundation and gratefully receive your support at this time.
Cindy, that was beautiful. I feel a little bit like we should just go home. I am so glad to be back in this place. I've said it numerous times, but thank you for the care that you all offered me on my medical leave as I recovered. Will you all join me in silence? Do we really want to be number one? I love books. My spouse says I have a bit of a problem. That I have too many books. Thank you. But I vehemently disagree with that. There is no such thing as too many books. Now, he is probably not wrong in that I should maybe use our public library more often than immediately jumping to buying them. And honestly, I am getting a little better at that. I mean, the 2 books here on the chalice table are checked out from our library. I didn't buy them. But I strongly believe that no one can have too many books. Books are good for us for so many reasons. They can take us on adventures in all kinds of places around the world and beyond. They foster creativity and imagination. Books can develop higher level critical thinking abilities. Books expose readers to new ideas and facts, boosting intelligence and building a strong vocabulary. As readers, we get to encounter different characters and experiences, building empathy and a wider worldview. We'll come back to those 3 later. Reading can reduce stress and anxiety. Some people find connections through reading when they become part of a book club. I absolutely love mine. I have read a lot of books in my life. I used to get in trouble when I was little because I would get a book and a flashlight and hide under my covers. Some of them stick with me and help me live a better life, like All About Love by Bell Hooks, Rest is Resistance by Tricia Hersey, The Serviceberry by Robin Wall Kimmerer, I'm Judging You by Lovey Ajayi Jones. Some books help me be a better minister, like Trauma-Informed Pastoral Care, The Practice of Adaptive Leadership, Injustice and Care of the Souls, Governance and Ministry for all you church nerds. And sometimes I actually get to read books for fun, like Lula Dean's Little Library of Banned Books, The Secret History, Bossy Pants, and What I Ate in a Year, Stanley Tucci. Books open us up to whole new worlds, and that is so, so good. So each year as summer ends, we ready ourselves for the rhythm of school days and sharpened pencils, lunch boxes and lesson plans, fresh starts and familiar routines. In churches, we feel it too. This sense of return after a summer, of beginning again, of committing ourselves to the work of learning and growing. But this fall, Here in South Carolina, we return to classrooms and libraries shadowed by a different kind of lesson, a harder one. This year, our state leads the nation in state-mandated school book bans. The stories that students are not allowed to read now say nearly as much as the ones they are. The banned books tend to have one thing in common: they tell the truth. They tell the truth about racism. They tell the truth about queerness. They tell the truth about immigrants and the complexity of starting over in a new land. These are not dangerous stories. These are sacred stories. These are the stories of people trying to be fully human in a world that sometimes tells them they shouldn't be. There is power in stories. They allow us to gain a better understanding of others. I love when people tell me stories about their lives. It helps me know them. Stories build empathy because they let us step into lives not our own. They are sacred texts in their own right. Author Judy Blume, whose books have regularly been challenged or banned, said, "Books don't turn kids into anything. Books open their minds. They give them empathy." How can that possibly be a bad thing? Although lately we have heard people say that empathy is a sin. There is even a book titled that. Yet I favor the idea in responses to that, like this one from Alicia Crosby. If empathy is a sin, sin boldly, sin often, and sin with abandon. We human beings are story-shaped creatures. Our moral compass is shaped not only by rules, but by narratives. The ones we hear, the ones we tell, the ones we come to believe. Books, especially the ones that get banned, have power because they crack something open in us. They ask us to feel what someone else feels. They say to a young reader, "You are not alone." Or just as powerfully, "You are responsible." In her book, That Librarian, The Fight Against Book Banning in America, Amanda Jones emphasizes how books, especially those depicting marginalized lives, affirm a young person's sense of self. We have all heard how important representation is in books, in movies, in toys, and so on. Books are mirrors for some, windows for others, and often they are both. As Unitarian Universalists, we believe in the free and responsible search for truth and meaning. We believe in the inherent worth and dignity of every person. And both of these commitments compel us to pay attention when voices are silenced. Because who gets to speak? Whose stories are told? These are spiritual questions. Book banning is not new in this country, but we've seen a record-breaking number of attempts to ban books in the past few years. Between July 1st, 2021, and March 31st, 2022, there were 1,586 book bans in 86 school districts across 26 states, affecting more than 2 million students, according to PEN America, a nonprofit that advocates for free speech. The group wrote, "Stories featuring LGBTQ+ issues or protagonists were a major target of bans, while other targets included books with storylines about race and racism, sexual content or sexual assault, death, and grief." Texas led the charge against books. Its 713 bans were nearly double that of other states. In 2023, this number was up 65% from the previous year, which itself was a record-breaking year. The American Library Association says that books usually are challenged with the best intentions. To protect others, frequently children, from difficult ideas and information. That might seem admirable, but book bans are a form of censorship, and censorship violates the First Amendment. According to Free Access to Libraries for Minors, which is an interpretation of the Library Bill of Rights, the ALA's basic policy concerning access to information, librarians and governing bodies should maintain that parents, and only parents, have the right and the responsibility to restrict the access of their children, and only their children, to library resources. Parents are the ones who should determine access for their children, not library boards. In 1951, Supreme Court Justice William O. Douglas said, "Restriction of free thought and free speech is the most dangerous of all subversions. It is the one un-American act that could most easily defeat us." This was almost 75 years ago. In the early 1980s, a group of students sued a New York school board for removing books by authors like Kurt Vonnegut and Langston Hughes that the board deemed anti-American, anti-Christian, anti-Semitic, and just plain filthy. The Supreme Court ruled that local school boards may not remove books from school libraries simply because they dislike the ideas contained in those books. I do wonder how the current Supreme Court might rule. Well, actually, maybe I don't need to wonder too much. The more things change, the more they stay the same. So exactly why are books really being challenged and banned? They aren't banned because they're bad. Again, they get banned for being honest. They get banned because they tell truths that make some people uncomfortable. They get banned because they disrupt the comfort of a status quo that has always depended on silence. Books about racism challenge the myth that racism is over. Books about LGBTQ+ lives challenge the idea that only certain kinds of love are legitimate. Books about immigration challenge the notion that only those born here belong here. So it's not about protecting children, as many claim. It's about protecting power. It's about protecting protecting these systems from accountability. And this is not neutral. Book bans disproportionately target stories by and about Black and brown people, queer and trans folks, and immigrants. All of this circles back to what I said earlier about what books do for us. Those trying to ban books don't want you to develop higher level critical thinking abilities. They don't want you exposed to new ideas and facts, boosting your intelligence and building a strong vocabulary. They don't want you to encounter different characters and experiences, building empathy and a wider worldview. This is all about power and control. As people of faith, this is not a political issue. It is a moral and spiritual one. Book banning is a spiritual issue because it asks, who do we see as fully human? Who do we trust to tell their truth? And are we willing to hear it, even when it challenges us? Unitarian Universalism stands for truth-telling, justice, compassion, equity, and freedom. If our tradition means anything at all, it means that we do not turn away from hard truths. We do not flinch from discomfort. We choose to be the people who make space for every voice at the table, especially those pushed to the margins. In every age, truth has been banned, exiled, and burned. And in every age, people of faith have spoken up, preserved stories, and passed them on. This matters here in South Carolina. As I said, we are now number 1, but not on a list that we should be proud of. As of May of this year, we now lead the nation in the number of state-mandated school book bans after the South Carolina Board of Education voted to remove 10 books from all public schools for all grade levels. According to the ACLU of South Carolina, this brings the total to 22 books removed or restricted statewide in South Carolina public schools. All 10 books that were banned were originally challenged by one parent who tried to ban the books in Beaufort County schools. One parent. Josh Malkin, the advocacy director for ACLU of South Carolina, gave the following statement. The state is continuing to leave educational decisions for all students up to one parent. This is problematic and counter to the foundational democratic ideals of public education. We are not bystanders to this trend. We are living in one of its epicenters. And so we must also be part of the resistance, quiet or loud, humble or brave, but persistent and clear. If there's a bright side, and I believe that there is, it's this. Banning a book almost never silences it. More often, it amplifies it. Sales of a newly banned book increase, and then people think, what are some other banned books? And then they go buy those. There is something holy in a story that refuses to stay quiet. If you've not seen it already, I want to encourage you to watch the documentary Band Together. It follows 3 students from Beaufort, South Carolina, as they advocate for returning 97 books that were suddenly pulled from their school libraries. It is excellent. In it, we learn how the rise of book bans just happens to coincide with the rise of Moms for Liberty, the nonprofit that targets local school boards, school administrators, teachers, and advocates for causes that include modifying classroom curricula to exclude critical race theory, eliminating sex education, and banning books that clash with their values, all presented as supporting parental rights. In the film, someone said, Moms for Liberty can claim to be for liberty, but they are in the business of telling others what they can and cannot do, what they can and cannot read, what they can and cannot think. These young women highlighted in the film are truly inspiring, suggesting that we organize, stand up, and speak out with a unified voice to protect our freedom to read. Our young people give me hope. Our young people are going to lead us. Schools and libraries here in South Carolina and around the country have become battlegrounds. Some librarians become afraid to order books for fear that they might be controversial. Yet some librarians decided to organize and push back against censorship. One of the ways they did this was creating Banned Book Week in 1982. This annual event highlights the value of free and open access to information and brings together the entire book community: librarians, educators, authors, publishers, booksellers, and readers of all types, in shared support of the freedom to seek and to express ideas. I want to encourage you to pay attention to Banned Book Weeks each year and participate in any way you can. Banned Book Weeks in 2025 will be held October 5th through the 11th. The theme this year is Censorship is So 1984. Read for your rights. The theme, obviously, draws attention to the dangers of censorship, referencing George Orwell's 1984, and emphasizing the importance of defending the right to read. We're going to spend most of August exploring some of the books that have been banned, particularly around the themes of racism, anti-LGBTQ+ discrimination, and immigration, not just as political artifacts, but as moral teachers. We'll hear from the Sneetches, The Hate U Give, Melissa, and Tango Makes Three, Dreamers, Genderqueer, and more. Each of these books has something to teach us about courage, about empathy, about telling the truth when it's hard. And each time we open their pages, we are saying, we believe that every story matters. In addition to learning more about some of the many books that have been targeted to be banned, is there anything else we can do? Any action items we can take? Absolutely. And some of you are already doing these things. But here's a list if you need some ideas. Stay informed. Buy the books. Read the books. Share them with others. Use them as tools for intergenerational conversations. Support students, teachers, and librarians. Donate to organizations who are fighting against book bans. I am sure that every person in this room read your unison when it arrived in your inbox on Friday, right? I can check. So you saw that SCUJA, the South Carolina Unitarian Universalist Justice Alliance, has joined the fight against book banning with a Buy Banned Books campaign. When that came to me, I thought, good timing. You can donate to that. We can challenge the bans locally, attend school board meetings, attend public library board meetings, connect with Free to Read Spartanburg, write letters to those making decisions, to the editor of the newspaper, to a favorite banned or challenged author, thanking them for their words. Speak out. Exercise your right to read. Donate banned books to those who might not have access to them. Create sacred space here at the church for storytelling and reading. We have hosted a drag queen story hour here at least once. We should do it again soon. There are so many ways to stand up against book banning. Find the avenue or avenues that work best for you. Let us be people who keep reading. Let us be people who keep listening. Let us be people who keep telling the truth, even and especially when it is banned. Because books may be pulled from shelves, but truth cannot be erased. And a story, once it is heard, lives on in us. May it be so.
If you would please join us in hymn number 34, Though I May Speak with Bravest Fire.
We extinguish our chalice with quotes from middle school librarians from Amanda Jones' book, That Librarian, recently checked out from our public library. I was taught to do the right thing and stand up for injustice, so I will continue doing what my parents raised me to do. I reminded the board that the citizens of the parish consist of taxpayers who are white, black, brown, gay, straight, Christian, non-Christian, people from all backgrounds and walks of life, and no one portion of the community should dictate what the rest of the citizens have access to. Our nation's libraries and the stories they hold are under attack. I wanted librarians to know they aren't alone in this fight and provide residents with strategies to stand up for intellectual freedom. I just think I have a responsibility to speak out. So when they want me to be quiet, I always say, I'm going to roar. I'm not going to stop.
May the stories they try to erase take root even more deeply. May the voices they try to silence sing louder. And may we, as people of faith, never stop telling the truth.